we definitely want to pick your brain a little. So I don't know if we mentioned yet or not, but you're running Fusion ATL, which is from golf instructing and also physical fitness training, et cetera. So that's kind of been the big theme of the week. And then two of the guys that are stealing, well, three, I guess now if you want to talk about DJ, but you got Brooks, Tiger, and DJ, and all three of these guys have had some, Tiger, obviously, he's had some career injury. But, Brooks coming in with the knee, and then DJ, he had some trouble a couple weeks ago. He pulled out. So is the weather, just as far as physically, what do you think they're going to be walking into there? And what do they do to adapt to that?
Well, the good news is hydration, exercise won't be much of an issue. I'm playing a major at like Southern Hills a few years ago. You ran into exhaustion, you ran into all those fatigue things for every player. Really, when it's potentially cool weather like it is, you're going to have the players that are A, older, or B, have injuries that they're going to more likely have some niggling issues. But honestly, the medical teams on site, with their physio, they do a great job every week. So they're incredibly busy every week. So even though we don't hear a lot of times about players being injured, there's so much of the backroom work being done on these players every week to keep them going. The one that might be interesting is Tiger, given the fact he's had serious, major operations. Cold weather, generally speaking, isn't the best for somebody with those issues. But at the end of the day, still Tiger Woods. So it's a bit of an unknown. Clearly, there's something going on there, or he would have played, maybe not the past week, but certainly in a couple of weeks leading up to this week. So you never know with him. He's closely shrouded as far as what's going on with him, but clearly something's not where it needs to be.
Yeah, they were asking him during his interview today. He was kind of referencing, he's been working on some things and he's feeling good, et cetera. And the guy asking the question, he's like, "Oh, what have you been working on?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm not telling you that."
No, it's the master the art of a non-interview is Tiger over the years. So an answer with a non-answer, basically. He's mastered that, and he can get away with it. But he's clearly got some physio work to do. I'm sure he's been doing a lot of swing stuff. But he's going to go from South Florida to 55 degrees in the Bay Area, which is very, very different. Again, the good thing is he's from that part of the world. So from feeling good about being home, seeing those grasses, seeing those greens, that's clearly an advantage to him. He's historically played very well in California. And it's a major, so I'm sure he's got the juices flowing for that.
Well, historictically, he's played well at this course. So, not just to California. So, he's kind of got multiple things going for him. So, I don't know if it was Michelle Wee or Duval. One of them was making some comments. They said JT just passed him. And, I guess they were kind of, chatting with each other. And JT said, they said, "Hey, how's the ball flying?" And he said, about 2 clubs less. So,
for sure.
So, but if you think about it, that's probably a good thing because, they already know they're not going to get the distance that they would typically get. So why overswing and hurt myself because it's not there anyway, right?
Yeah, but it's the hard thing is to acclimatize, really. So there are so many tools we can use now. We can set up the launch monitors. So before we go to these different sites, we can set up the launch monitor to be that humidity, that temperature, which gives us a better idea. For a lot of players going from Memphis in the heat, going to Southern California, rationally you're thinking, yeah, the ball's going to fly less, blah, blah, blah. But in the back of the mind, the player's like, am I swinging not quite right? Like the ball out there literally looks like it's hitting a wall at some point and just drops from the sky. You're at sea level and you've got high humidity and cool temperatures. Any one of those is make the ball fly shorter. You got all three there. So adjusting is a big deal.
Do you think it was an advantage, John, for some people to maybe skip Memphis and go straight over there? I know we saw Adam Scott was practicing there all weekend. Is that more of an advantage than going to Memphis?
If you'd played the week before, potentially, yes. For people like Scott and Tiger, they're phenomenal. But there are very few players that can go from no tournaments into a tournament and play well. The only thing I think that's been interesting with no fans there is you've seen every leaderboard has been stacked. There's been coming down to Sunday, it feels like there's been so many people that could win the tournament. So whether that's somewhat that the juices are flowing but not quite as much, or they don't get quite the feeling of the crowds around them, I don't know. So it could potentially, you could kind of BS yourself into thinking this is just another round of golf with my buddies and I'm just going to go play. Now, something definitely mentally has changed over the last few weeks for that to happen, because every week there has been, come Sunday, there's been 20 people close to the lead, which rarely happens, really. So, don't know. I personally, if I had a player, I'd be much more in the mode of let's play the week before, see where we are, see what's going on, and the learning curve isn't quite as steep when you get to the next stop. Now we're just into seeing what's the difference in ball flight, what's the course setup look like, what's the game plan for the course. You're not kind of working through all the, how different it feels from practice to tournament. You've actually had some shots under the gun to kind of figure out how the player's actually doing. It's very, very hard to simulate tournament conditions. I mean, if you can, anybody out there knows how to do it, I'm in, because that would be a great thing to understand from my world.
And you just became even busier at that point, right? So
yeah, but that would be good busy. We could deal with that kind of thing. That would be all right. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.